James Gunn's DCEU is a full reboot. Welcome to Bada Boom. I'm Chris. The writer's strike is finally over, which means we can somewhat start talking about the future of DC. The actors are still currently on strike, but there are rumors SAG-AFTRA and the AMPTP coming together to negotiate soon, so hopefully the ball starts rolling on everything. With the strike ending last night, James Gunn wasted no time to answer a fan's question on threads about the DCU. Gunn said, "Nothing is canon until Commandos next year, a sort of aperitif to the DCU, and then a deeper dive into the universe with Superman Legacy after that. It's a very human drive to want to understand everything all the time, but think it's okay to be confused on what's happening in the DCU since no one has seen anything from the DCU yet." Now, where is this confusion coming from? The confusion comes from the fact that ever since Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, there has been no clear direction for DC's films. They have had stops and starts chasing the success of Kevin Feige and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even with Gunn clarifying that the DCU canon begins with Creature Commandos, that series features characters from the DCEU like Weasel played by Sean Gunn and Amanda Waller played by Viola Davis. Gunn had this to say about that. And yes, some actors will be playing characters they played in other stories, and plot points might be consistent with the plot points from dozens of films, shows, and animated projects that have come from DC in the past. But nothing is canon until CC, Creature Commandos, and Legacy. So like the comics, DC continuity is a mess. Now, will that matter in the long run? No. People want originality and quality. The golden age of superhero and comic book films are over in the sense that if it's based on a comic book, it's an automatic hit. Barbie showed that IP still sells, but it is the way you package it. Audience members are tired of the same old thing, and if James Gunn and Peter Safran can put together a collection of filmmakers that can do that, no one will care what is and what isn't canon. They care about what's good and isn't good. Gunn is doing a lot of work to be an ambassador for the DC brand. The real work starts now when it comes to getting writers to make audiences buy in. Given that, I feel the latest recalibration for DC feels a lot like Young Justice. In Young Justice, there are several characters and plot lines that carry into the series that suggest it is a continuation of another canon, but it's not. For example, Razor from Green Lantern, the animated series, appears in the final season of Young Justice. I say final because they haven't announced season 5, which is a tragedy. This episode clearly has ties to the canceled way too soon show on Cartoon Network. However, Greg Weisman explains that certain stories connect, but just not in the way you think. A version of Green Lantern's finale happened in the Young Justice universe, and that is how we got Razor returning. It is Young Justice adjacent. If that sounds complicated, it is. It allows the creative team to keep plot threads that work and enhance or flat out ignore ones that don't. To end this, I'll share one last Gunn thread that I believe captures what matters in me. If you think of anything as investing time and effort, no matter what shared universe, you definitely shouldn't be. Every story should be enjoyed and worth partaking in and of itself, without its attachment to an outside world. If it feels like homework, screw it. Shared universes should add fun to the individual stories and not the other way around. The individual stories and characters are much more important than the connections between them. With that, bada boom.